Well, that didn't go as planned. I want to say I'm very sorry about the audio issues. We understand there is an issue and we are doing everything we can to resolve it. So let's jump right into this. Welcome back for our third video of the 35th anniversary video series. I want to thank you again for tuning in to this month's video. Also want to give a quick shout out to Jonathan from Franklin County, Pennsylvania for being last month's winner of a Gen 5 G17. Now for the Q&A portion of this, we are going to answer all the questions that we received, and let's jump right into it. This month is about GLOCK Training. So let's check out a video that gives us a little behind the scenes of what GLOCK Training is all about. Welcome back to this month's 35th anniversary video. Now last month I said we were going to explore a new program that we're really trying to expand. Well, here we are at GLOCK Professional, just down the street from GLOCK headquarters, and today we're going to be discussing our training division. Now we have a lot of great instructors and we have a lot of great courses. So let's get inside and talk to our Director of Training, Mr. Willie Parent. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well.
Mr. Parent, tell us what this is. What is GLOCK Professional?
Well, GLOCK Professional is actually a separate business than GLOCK Inc. And down here we're the follow-through for Mr. GLOCK's clients, whether it be civilian, military, law enforcement, across the board. We have two different businesses or divisions under this one roof. The first one's GLOCK Sports Shooting Foundation, which we'll talk about later in the year. And then we also have the training division, which is why you guys are down here to talk about today.
Exactly. Now, with the training division, what all happens here? What are the courses you guys offer?
Well, we have a slew of courses, everything from entry level all the way up to military and law enforcement instructors only, and kind of everything in between to fill in those gaps. We offer them here weekly, but we also do them all around the country.
So you have courses here that happen inside of this classroom.
That's correct. From
what, armors courses to what else?
We have our entry level course, which is Brilliance in the Basics. We have advanced armorer. We have MOS operator courses. We have operator course, instructor workshops, and we have a few other courses in the makings.
Okay.
And we do that here, and we also do it all around the country, except for the Brilliance in the Basics, which we're going to start here, and we'll see where it takes us.
Now I want to go back to the Brilliance in the Basics a little bit. What exactly is that? Let's elaborate on that some.
Well, the last few years has been an extraordinary amount of new firearms owners, and so we got our heads together and started thinking we need to do something for these particular clients to make sure that they understand the safety aspects of what they're doing, so on and so forth. So we all got together and we came up with this particular course, which they come to us and they just need range appropriate clothing as well as a belt. Everything else is covered in the course fee, from the use of the firearm to the ammunition, everything they need. Once they come here, we'll teach them safety, then we'll teach them the nomenclature. We'll also teach them manipulation of the GLOCK products. Then we'll go out onto the range. We'll do some live fire fundamental drills to kind of get them an understanding of the purities of the fundamentals of marksmanship.
Sure.
Then we'll unload, show clear, come back to the classroom, in which case they learn how to properly field strip, clean and maintain, as well as reassemble their pistols.
So if I'm understanding this correctly, it's similar to like an armor's course and a shooting course kind of combined into one?
Well, look at it as more as taking that owner's manual in the box and making it a live actual course that the client can come here and take and attend with us.
I can only imagine the information that they could gather out of that with all the maintenance and then learning the fundamentals of shooting, especially as a new shooter with so many coming into the industry now.
Yeah, and we use the G44 with that, so that way the recoil impulse, the noise, all that's kind of put down to the lower end of the scale. That way they can learn the purities of it and go out there confidently and begin their journey.
So if they were looking for information on these different courses, whether it be armors courses or the Brilliance in the Basics, where do they go for this information?
GLOCKtraining.com. We have the training schedule on there, so if you want to find a course near you, it'd be there. We also have course descriptions, so if you're wondering if is this course for military and law enforcement, is it for concealed carry permit holders, so on and so forth. All that's in the course descriptions. And then for those that want to host a course, we also have the host link. So if your agency or your group wants to host us out there, click on that, and then you'll begin talking with Miss Erin Ramsdale when you get that in. However, scheduling is the hard part with us because we have 15 instructors total spread out around the nation. However, we do well over 600 courses a year, 14 to 16,000 students per year. So the scheduling part's really the difficult thing, but once we get that worked out with you and our schedule, and we make it happen.
And it sounds like you guys are staying pretty busy then.
We are. We definitely are.
Well, I see you guys have an indoor range here inside the building.
We do.
And do you guys have a course going on out there?
We actually do.
Well, I think everyone out there would love to see the range and see some shooting, so How about we go out there and look?
Let's go see it.
Let's do it.
Come on. You on the range, man.
You know, Willie, I would like to know how many hours you and I have spent on this range.
Not enough, apparently.
Hey, shooter! The next drill will be 2 rounds. Reload, do 2 more rounds. 2, reload, 2. Shoot ready. Stand by. Hurry. And holster up. The line is safe. Listen to that range. Take a look at it.
I feel like that needs to be me and you right now.
I wish it was.
So what is they're doing right now?
A pair, speed read on a pair. Basically, they're going through the presentation, fundamentals of marksmanship, back onto the mechanical aspect of doing a reload, and back off the gas for the fundamentals of marksmanship. Basically, always balancing that speed and accuracy and finding the right mixture and where you can get on the gas and where you need to get off the gas to make sure you're getting your hits and you're doing all the mechanics efficiently.
Now, is this what a typical day at GLOCK Training is like?
Pretty much. Here we have courses every week from armoring to shooting, and then around the nation we have it going at our different facilities that host us around the entire country.
So every course that you guys have is developed and proved right here in this building and on this range?
That's correct. Based off the needs of our customers, we'll gain that intelligence, bring it together, we'll get together as instructors, come up with different courses, and then this month we're having a training meeting, so all the instructors from around the country are coming in. We're going to put them through exactly the course and its design and timelines, round counts, and once that's all finalized, they all understand exactly what we're trying to give to our clients. They go out and teach it.
So you bring in all of your instructors inside and outside, you brief them on the course, put them through the course, and they're able to go out throughout the United States and teach all of this information.
That's correct.
That's pretty cool.
It's a good way to make a living.
That's true. Now, the real question right now, how often do you get in here to train?
Not as much as people think, and nowhere near how much I would love to be here.
Now, what's the big statement that you always tell me, whether before I go to a competition or really every time you see me?
Rent is due.
Rent's due every day. Willie, thank you so much.
Thank you, Shane.
Appreciate it. This is GLOCK Training. I'm going to head back to the studio to answer all of your questions live. We are going to have a special guest, so make sure and stay tuned. See you in a sec. Welcome back to our Q&A portion of this video. I also want you to know that watching this video will not affect your registration. And also, if you watch this before April 5th, that will also count as your registration for this month's prize and the grand prize at the end of the year. So let's get into the Q&A. With me here, I have our Director of Training, Mr. Willie Parent, and our special guest, Mr. Robert, who is our Director of Training for GLOCK International. So, Willie, tell us your background and where you come from.
Well, I was born in New Bedford, Massachusetts, joined the Marine Corps when I was 18, started out in infantry and then moved on to Force Reconnaissance. And then later, towards the end of my career, I went to Marine Special Operations Command when that was transferred over and stood up. From there, when I got out in 2009, I continued working as a contractor at the schoolhouse for MARSOC, teaching close quarters battle and combative marksmanship, things of that nature. Got into competitive shooting once I had gotten out. And, okay. I was coming for you, but I just never caught you. So, August 2015, just kind of happened that GLOCK was needing somebody or looking for somebody, and I happened to put my resume in and got hired as a deputy director, and then in January 2017 I got promoted to director.
Now, do you think your previous background and being the part-time competitive shooter really helps you being the Director of Training now?
I do believe it does, because as I grew in the ranks in the Marine Corps, I was getting more involved with administration as well as the logistics, things of that nature. And then on the competitive side, a lot of the techniques that I was able to capture from there, I was able to bring back to the community and give that to them, because a reload's a reload and a draw's a draw.
Yep.
So the technique you can put into any tactic. So I believe with that kind of background, it's helped me out substantially.
Well, all the training you and I have done, that's been a big conversation that you and I have had over the years. How does the competitive shooting translate to the techniques and fundamentals that you teach to your everyday clients?
Well, the adrenaline of a gunfight you can never replicate, no matter whether you're at a match or simunitions or whatever the case may be. However, the techniques and the amount of practice you have to put in to get good at competitive shooting perfects all of that, as well as we used to do live fire shoot houses and live breaches, and I was to the point where, you'd get nervous, but it was never really, the self-induced stress wasn't there, because it was what I did all the time. But when I'd go to a USPSA match or a 3-gun match, when I got into that box and they said shooter ready, I got nervous,
Yeah.
and then once the buzzer went off, sometimes it worked and other times it didn't. So I believe a lot of that self-induced stress that you pick up from the competitive world, that will help you in the actual world of law enforcement and military. So I highly encourage everybody to go out there and shoot matches, whether it's Glock Sports Shooting Foundation, USPSA, IDPA, get out there and do it, because that self-induced stress of having to perform will only help you at work. And yeah, you can't go out and get in a gunfight every weekend, but you can go shoot a match and at least work on those skills of reloads, movements, draws, all the skills that are needed.
Sure. Now, Mr. Robert,
Yep.
what is your background and where do you come from?
I'm come from Vienna, born in Vienna, and learned fine mechanic. Before I come to Glock for 29 years, and start at Glock with armorer. Later then I changed to a manager of the assembling line. After that, go to the tech service, and now I'm director for the trainings department, international Glock. Yeah.
So you have,
Well, a lot of that was you're conducting armor courses around the globe during that time frame too. So that's kind of what brought it in.
Yeah.
so you have a very long history with Glock.
Yes, that's correct. I'm started Glock with the first facility. That was a smaller area and was very family. And was definitely have a long history at Glock. And
Well, how did Glock training get its start? What brought it to life?
Well, in the very beginning, we've had a lot of conversations about this because 29 years at the company and me with only 5, going on 6, I'm constantly picking his brain. In the beginning, Mr. Glock himself was known for saying that training is key. The U.S. and the global market wasn't used to a mass-produced polymer framed pistol, so on and so forth. So he believed teaching people how to work on, maintain his product, and then also on the shooting side of the house, more efficient ways and of running the product was the key to the success. So it started out real small, and as it's grown over the years and keeps growing, the customer demands come in, and as the customers tell us what they're looking for, we take that information and we're constantly trying to give them what they want in a manner that helps them. So yeah, it's a constant evolution. It's going to keep evolving and growing based off of customer demand.
Now, how have Glock Training USA and Glock Austria, how have you guys worked together to always evolve the training program and give back to the client?
Willie called me weeks or 2-3 times, or weeks, 3 o'clock in the morning, and it's
3
works.
a.m.
It happens. Well, for his time, he's 6 hours behind. So
Yeah.
I wake up early to make sure that he's not leaving work, and but we communicate all the time, constantly, whether it's for armorers courses, shooting courses. We're constantly in communication because communication is, in my opinion, key to a good teamwork. And it also helps that we're not just colleagues and peers, but we're also friends.
Sure.
So it makes that communication a little bit easier for us to just, hey, we need this, and he's like, hey, we need this, and we get together and find a way.
We help us together, and this works perfect. I help him, Willie and his team, a little bit more at the technical side, and his team helps me and my team about shooting, and that helps. Yeah, communication perfect. It runs good. Yeah.
So, what is the future of Glock Training?
We look forward, definitely, and I can say this to Glock Training International. We want to go bigger, and we want to go more to the customers outside. This is what I hear long years on exhibitions. The customer, they want a little bit more from Glock. They love Glock and they want Glock. Yeah, And this is on my schedule to give the trainings department to the customer.
So the customer's always first.
Definitely, yeah. That is from here from Willie and also for in Austria. Definitely on the trainer side, customers first. Yeah.
Everything I've ever heard from vice presidents up to anybody I've met here is the customer is first, and the evolution will never stop. Right now, our two teams are here in Georgia, training together for future courses to bring to our clients per their requests. So the customer's always letting us know where we're going to go next.
Well, I have to say, gentlemen, I'm excited to see where the evolution of GLOCK training goes.
As
So-
are we.
Let's get into some of the questions. Robert J. from Texas says, I have a Gen 3 G17. Is that acceptable to use in one of your classes?
Yes, any GLOCK products can be used. We've had people attend with a G44 in the operator course, all the way up to the different calibers. Our thing is we work for Mr. GLOCK, and we are the follow-through for his product. So as long as you're shooting a GLOCK product, come to us.
Perfect. Josh from Oregon, as a new shooter, what do you suggest is the best GLOCK pistol to learn on?
I think we agree on this.
Yeah, we agree with that. A G44, definitely for a new shooter, and when they start to shoot, then definitely a G44.
The sound, the recoil impulse,
Yeah.
you learn the purity of marksmanship, and then you can grow into the caliber that you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
So I believe that's a great starting point for everybody.
I agree with that. I mean, bringing, especially now with so many new shooters entering the market, I think a G44 is the perfect pistol to introduce them on, like you said, with recoil mitigation, the sound, and the functionality of the pistol mimicking that of a G19.
Yep. Ergonomically, it's the same. It's just slightly lighter,
Right.
but ergonomically, same holster, same mag pouches.
Yep.
So easy transition.
And
I agree.
for the technical side, the same trigger system. The customer, then when he changed to 9mm, for example, he had no to thinking about what is others. It's the same pistol,
Right.
same trigger weight, and it's fine. Then
Agreed.
It goes to more steps then.
100% agreed. Now, to follow up on the first question, Tim from Missouri asks, are students allowed to use any pistol in your training courses?
As long as it's GLOCK product, whichever from Gen 1 to Gen 5, yes. Whatever you have that's GLOCK. However, because of our intimate knowledge of Mr. GLOCK's products, yeah, we train people on GLOCK platforms. We don't train just across the board because we're in support of our sales team in our overall mission given to us by Mr. GLOCK, which is support the customers.
Right.
So in order to do that as efficiently and effectively as we can, yeah, you need to use GLOCK product in our classes.
Nick from California, does GLOCK Training contract any of their instructors?
No, we don't. We believe in quality control, and when you start getting into the contracting world of bringing in this person or bringing in that person, it makes it really hard to make sure because of the intimate knowledge that's required to be an armor instructor as well as a shooting instructor for us. We only have organic and we only have full-time employees, and we do that for quality control. Now, we're constantly going out and learning and taking things that he learns globally and things we learn from across the U.S. and Canada and North America, and always bringing that in to make sure our clients are getting the best knowledge. But we'd like to make sure that our staff is properly trained and they're very, very intimate with the product and how to use it.
Well, it's like you said earlier, you already have your entire staff here right now for your training meetings.
Yep,
So
yeah.
that's a perfect quality control for all the courses and the new courses that you guys are building to make sure everyone has the same knowledge of the course and spreads the same message.
Yeah, correctly. That is important. That what we want to give the customers when, for example, they come to Europe and come to a GLOCK Armorers course, they have the same what they have here for years ago or for a month ago in US. And we want to give the customers the same end of the armorers course and also on the shooting side.
Right.
The only difference between us is the accent.
Yeah, that's the barricade.
You guys are very similar. Okay, next question. Carly from Tennessee. As an experienced shooter, what training course would you suggest that they should consider?
As an experienced shooter, I would say the operator course. They're held around the country and around the world. For beginner shooters, the Brilliance and the Basics course, which we've just released this year. So, yeah, definitely the operator's course to start out there. However, the Brilliance and the Basics entry, yep, take it from there. We have instructor workshops, but that's for military, law enforcement, actual instructors. So as far as skill builders, we have the Brilliance and the Basics and then the operator courses. So we have them both for red dot sites as well as just typical, and it's always our typical courses are a mix between red dots and iron sights. The red dot sight is specifically the MOS operator specifically for that optic on your pistol. But those are skill builder courses.
Right. Okay. Let's see. Douglas from Kentucky says, and this has actually been a very common question lately, with ammo being short, what type of dry fire practice would either one of y'all recommend?
I recommend extensive dry practice. People think that I'm on the range shooting all the time when I'm not. My job's a facilitator, so I dry practice. But when you do your dry practice routine, and I believe you're going to agree with me because we look at it the same way, is if I'm going to the gym to work on my chest, I do incline bench, decline bench, flat bench, flies, and an assortment of other exercises. And I look at firearms training the same way. I'm working at each little individual aspect, and then I put it all together when I get the opportunity to go out and shoot that ammunition. I'm not trying to figure out how to draw and perfect fundamentals of marksmanship. I've already perfected the draw at my house in a safe environment with no ammo and no cost, just a little bit of your time.
Yeah, I think with dry fire, it's really, like Willie said, just perfecting the fundamentals so you can isolate your reload, your draws, your front sight acquisition, or even your trigger control.
Yeah.
And it's really just isolating those fundamentals and building those mechanics so that when you do go to the range, you can put everything together and have a solid foundation for a really productive training day.
That's correct.
Let's see. Benjamin from Washington asks, what is the monthly prize for this month? Well, the monthly prize for this month is going to be a Gen 5 G17 plus one entry into a GLOCK training course. One GLOCK training course.
No, joke. Is it?
As an instructor, what is one of your biggest takeaways from all the classes that you teach?
To be honest with you, I believe one of the biggest takeaways that you're going to get from any GLOCK course, whether it be in Ecuador, Austria, Germany, US, Canada, Puerto Rico, anywhere we service, don't be institutionalized. Keep an open mind, and as an instructor, you must continue to be a student and never stop learning. And the day that I believe I know it all is the day my gun belt comes off, and I'll go shoot USPSA matches and 3-gun, but as far as instruction, the day I think I know everything is the day I'm done doing it, because that's when it starts becoming a bad thing.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that, because I've been competing now for, I think this is my 18th year competing, and I still learn from everybody.
Yep.
You know, we go to these USPSA matches and we shoot on the super squads and we do this and that, but some of the best lessons I've ever learned have been from your lower class shooters that see something completely different than I do.
Yep.
You know, recently I was at a match and we were on this stage, and me and JJ Rakaza had the exact same stage plan, and another gentleman on the squad saw something completely different from us.
Yep.
And I applauded him for it, because they have totally different mindsets than us. So for us to be able to keep an open mind and never feel like you're not a student anymore, I think is super key.
Yep. Do not become institutionalized. Continue learning, looking at it from a different light, and if it makes sense, it's safe, the timer says it's more efficient, that doesn't lie. Whether you're in a gunfight or a USPSA match, those two things don't lie.
Yep. Now, from both of y'all, what is your favorite thing about being instructors and being a part of GLOCK training?
And easy. It's always for me motivated for so long time at GLOCK. When I teach customer, and end of the day, they happy about that. What we teach, what we learn customers when we talk a little bit Glock history, and that's what always motivated me, and I look forward to then we go international, a little bit bigger, and that's motivated me every day. Yeah.
Perfect.
For me, honestly, it's giving back and having to the community, whether it be civilian, military, law enforcement, taking the knowledge that I've been able to acquire and basically steal from all over the world and give it to the people that need it. So that's extremely rewarding when your clients come back to you and say, hey, this helped me in this aspect, or whatever the case may be, and helping people grow and hopefully become more efficient with what they're doing and safe as well. So to me, giving back and doing that for Mr. Glock is an honor, honestly.
Well, I have to say, I think all of our clients, all of our fans are lucky to have both of you gentlemen as instructors, and I am happy to be able to work with both of you.
Yep.
So that's all the questions we have for today. Again, I want to apologize for the sound issues. We are working to correct all of them for the future videos. Remember, this month's prize is a G17 Gen 5 plus 1 entry into a Glock training course, and watching this video is your registration as long as it is done before April 5th. For all the rules and regulations, visit glock35th.us, and thank you again for watching. We look forward to seeing you next month. And lastly, our special guest, Mr. Robert, thank you for coming and being with us today.
I want to say that in my language now, in Vienna language. Vielen Dank, dass ich hier sein durfte, und ich hoffe, wir sehen uns bald wieder. Thank you.
Thank you. See you guys next month.